Hello guys, today we'll be talking about how Epic has launched an attack on these mobile storefronts and see if this is a good thing or a bad thing. And this is my opinion, so don't think me God and being like, well, this is wrong or this is bad, but I'm just going to look at the merits and see if one side is right and one side is wrong. So this is basically Epic Games versus Apple and Google. So how we will look at this is by looking at how both sides handle the mobile app and games on the different mobile platforms. After that, we see which side is right or wrong, and again, this is my opinion. So before going down with this whole video, engage with the video by liking, subbing, and commenting your thoughts. So first of all, let's look at Apple and Google's Play Store to see how these two are actually basically working and how things work between the two, how these two basically work. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know why I'm talking like this, but basically, yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. How the App Store works and how the Google Store works with their respective platforms, which is iOS and Android. So starting with the Apple Store. Apple Store is straightforward. It is the only store available on the iOS platform. A developer will have to jump a lot of hoops in order to get their app or their game on the store. This is important to note because this is the only way that you get your app on iOS. So you can't get it anywhere else unless you jailbreak your phone, which is actually violating their terms of service or whatever, their rules of using their phone. So you can't jailbreak, you only get your apps from the App Store. But then when you're looking at Google, it's kind of the same setup, but the difference now is that it's much easier to get your app on the Google Play Store. At the same time, the Android platform is open. So this is where the difference is very important, where the Android platform is open, so you can distribute your app without the Google Play Store. So you can distribute your app onto Android without using the store. You can use your website. You can use your another store. There are many stores up there. You can use another store to upload your apps and all that. So when it comes to Android, you don't need to have your app be on the Google Play Store. But the only advantage that you have for putting it on your Play Store is because that's where most Android users see their apps. So that's an advantage of using the Google Play Store. Now, the one thing that they have in common is that the stores take a 30% revenue cut on every app purchase and any microtransactions that you're actually engaging in when you're using the app. So that's what is bugging Epic. Epic wants that 30% cut lowered or maybe even eradicated. So this is the fight that they're actually waging against these two companies. So now, before we start saying this is wrong, this is bad, let's look at Apple. Oh, sorry, not Apple, my bad. Let's look at Epic. Let's see what Epic is actually, Epic actually did in this whole situation. Let's just look at that. Epic basically broke the terms of service and made all transactions made in Fortnite distributed on Apple and Google to go straight to Epic without the cut that Apple has set or Google has set. So that's what started all of this. And my thoughts on this is that it's kind of weird because, well, it's reported that the moment that Fortnite was banned from both storefronts, like it took a few hours and they already set up the lawsuit. They already had the trailer that they put on the internet where they're saying free Fortnite, all of this. They had all of this. So it's basically obvious that they had all of this planned. Getting Fortnite banned, well, that was a plan that they had. So now we look at which side is wrong. But basically, don't forget, this is my opinion. So we have to look at this separately because it's a two, like Apple is fighting basically against a tag team. It's both Epic versus Google, then Epic versus Apple. So we now need to look at it separately. So when it comes to Apple versus Google, I think Epic is wrong because when it comes to distribution, they could have just distributed their app whenever they wanted, like wherever they wanted, another store that has a lower revenue cut, or they could have just done that from their website. But then the fact that they did it on Google as well, that is actually a sign that this is all about the money because they want to make money off of Google users, Google Play Store users, without that cut, of which Google set their terms. That's what they want. If you don't agree with that, you could have just done that. We could have just distributed your app on another storefront or any other place. They could have done that, but they didn't. They wanted to make money off of the Google users, which shows that this is all about the money. They don't care basically about the users. Being honest, when we look at what they did when it comes to PC, they created their own Epic store for PC that was going to compete against GOG and Steam, and they started buying off games to make them exclusive to to the Epic store, and this made things a little bit complicated because now users were left with two choices: wait even longer for the game, or actually now use a store that they didn't want to use, which just shows that it's all about the money. They don't care about the customer. They care that the customer is just giving them money. So when you're now looking at it, the Epic versus Google, they're just doing it about the money because they want to make money off of the users of Google, because they know if they try to make their own store or maybe just distribute maybe Fortnite on their own website, something like that, a lot of people would not bat an eye on that. So they would rather make money off of a lot of users, especially the naive ones that are using Google. And that makes it look scummy. But now let's look at it when we say Epic versus Apple. This is where it becomes complicated, because both Apple and Epic in this situation are kind of wrong. So let's look at how Apple is wrong in this situation. Well, Apple, the reason why I don't even use an Apple device, especially an iOS device, is because they limit customer choice. So Apple should really relax their barriers of entry when you're trying to get your app onto their store. Like they should find a way to basically lower the barriers, because it makes it very, very hard, and the customer and the developer they don't have a way of getting their app onto the device either way. So they have to go through those steps, which makes it a monopoly of some sort. It's because the customer doesn't have a choice and the developer has to go through these terms that even if they don't agree with, they just have to go with them. If you look at apps like Spotify, they've been very vocal and on Epic's side when it comes to stuff like this. So now let's look at Epic, how Epic is wrong. Epic is wrong since Apple created iOS and the App Store. It makes it their property basically. So if I make my own food, you can't come along and tell me how to sell it and how to get it to the customers, and how customers, I don't know if my analogy makes sense, but basically that's what I'm trying to say. Like, you can't tell me what to do after I make something. You can't. If you want to engage with what I made, you have to follow my rules basically, which is not a good thing, like I already said, because now they're making it harder to get the apps, like a lower customer choice type of scenario is created in that situation. So what Epic is doing is actually noble to try to change that, but then the way they're going about it is not the right way, because you can't basically force Apple to change what they're trying to do. They can do whatever they want because, well, this is their platform. So when we now look at it like that, that's where Apple is wrong. Apple put their money on the line and everything to just ensure that iOS existed, the App Store existed. So them choosing a 30% cut, they're trying to, my view on it, they're trying to cover the work that has been going on when you're developing the iOS platform and the App Store. That's how I see it. At least that's how it's portrayed basically. So when you look at it like that, yeah, it doesn't really make much sense basically, because, well, Apple makes a lot of money, but basically it holds up. It's their platform. They can do whatever they want with it. And Apple and Epic can just come along and try to change a lot of this stuff. It doesn't work like that. So that's how I look at it. In summary, I'm just saying that when it comes to Epic versus Google, they're just being greedy now because they can distribute the app however they want. They can't just come to Google and want them to change. That's not how it works. With Android, you can do whatever you want. Don't come to someone else who's doing what they want and force them to basically abide to what you want. And then when it comes to Apple, they made the whole thing. They make the hardware for iPhone, they make the iOS, the software, and then they develop the App Store as well. So they are kind of allowed to do what they want, basically. And you as Epic, you have a choice to put your work of art on the Apple devices, just as the user has the choice to buy the iPhone and use it. So yeah, that those are my thoughts on the situation. So if you have anything to say, if you have any thoughts on the situation, you can comment down below. And before you comment, make sure you like the video and you sub. And thanks for watching. I'm out.